Hey, what's up? Welcome to Movie Dumpster Season 2, Episode 3. We got a special guest with us today, Davey De Forne, a.k.a. the Scaredy Cat. He does all of our artwork and all kinds of other great stuff. Today we're talking The Punisher from 1989, directed by Mark Goldblatt. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor. The missing skull logo is on my shirt, McGraw.
And I'm Davey De Forne. Meow.
Welcome to the dumpster.
You're sick. You know that, don't you? What the fuck you call 125 murders in 5 years, huh? Work in progress.
Before we get going, I just want to introduce Davey De Forne.
What up, what up?
So, Dave does all kinds of awesome artwork. He did our logo with the hand coming out of the trash can and stuff. He's done some awesome, cat mashups with, Marty McFly from Back to the Future and Ellen Ripley from Aliens, but they're all cats. Really cool shit.
The bottom line is you should go follow him on Instagram because shit's cool.
Yeah. Also, he's got a new comic book coming out called Fishtown. Dave, if you want to spit a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, basically, I've always loved comic books growing up, and I've always wanted to write them. So this is my take on superheroes and everything I love and hate about them all compiled into one big ball and, spun out in a very zany 90s fashion. Me being a 90s kid, I was very big into the big flash and ooh and ah of what 90s comics brought to the table, but refined it a little bit as I matured, as I got older. And Fishtown is all that. I have characters with shape-shifting beards, laser boobs. I have...
Stop, you had me at shape-shifting beards.
I want to see the laser boobs.
I have and she also wears the Cyclops visor as a bra, so...
I saw this drawing now that you mentioned it. I'm definitely sure I saw the boob lasers.
And then I've just posted today on my Instagram, I have my mock of Wonder Woman, who's a true Amazonian. She's a 400-plus pound, 7-foot tall, sexy beast of muscle, and she loves snoo-snoo. So
she better.
If you don't get that Futurama reference, too bad.
That's your fault if you don't get it.
Yeah, and, they battle everything from mutated bank robbers to cats with rockets on their back, and they fail at it miserably. One of the cool aspects of it is that majority of the superheroes are bought, and what I mean by that is there's power plants all over the world that give power injections to the highest bidder, and there's 3 tiers within that, and depending on how much you could afford or the company that you work for can afford determines your power set.
You turn superpowers into a class warfare?
Pretty much. So you can get a Superman that takes it as seriously as a mall cop. So, that plays a lot into what a hero is and what heroics mean.
I said restrain the criminal. You melted his skull.
So yeah, and it's just I don't know how much you guys, Sean and Connor, are into current comic books. I talked to Joel about a little earlier.
I don't run a podcast that talks about comic TV. No, not at all.
But I'm just I've been very upset with the big two and how they've kind of dropped the ball.
Yes.
I feel with the hero genre.
Yeah, we're not too enthusiastic about what's going on in the big two right now because we all have event fatigue and we're tired of it.
Event fatigue, rebooted fatigue, and something wrong with their printers fatigue. But
was that a doomsday clock joke?
Oh, I meant the color palette.
Oh, but, okay. I thought you meant something's wrong as in they keep delaying the fucking book because it won't come out.
Yeah, well, Jim Lee needs to get on schedule. That's why.
Fucking hurry up.
But yeah, so it's as heartfelt of a story as it is. It has a lot of satirical parts that poke fun at the big two, and there's a lot of Easter eggs for everything. From anime to movies to comic books as well. It's everything I love all put into this one product called Fishtown.
I was sold when you said cats with bazookas. And shape-shifting beards. Like, it's the kind of stupid shit I want in my comics.
Exactly. The Amazing Beardo is one of my favorite creations.
Great name.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'm pretty sure when this episode drops, I believe the Indiegogo campaign is going to be dropping too. So we'll definitely link to that.
It will be live. So yes, and it will be indiegogo.com/projects/Fishtown.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're going to link to that somewhere, whether it be the Instagram or the Facebook or both or what have you. So you guys can definitely go check that out. And speaking of comic books, we got a comic book movie to talk about.
We got one that I would argue is actually ahead of its time.
I think it's way ahead of its time.
Agreed.
This movie fucking rules.
My memories of this movie were the polar opposite of how I felt watching it today, because I remember this movie totally differently.
This movie, like, literally gave me flashbacks to fucking, like, early 90s, like, gritty Punisher comics.
Yeah, man, it felt good as shit. And, like, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. And I was like, I remember really liking that. And then Dave wanted to do it for the show. And I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah. So I popped that on today. And I was like, holy shit, this fucking movie's so good. It's held up so fucking well. It's, like, ridiculous.
Also, Dolph Lundgren is 6'5", therefore making him the most frightening Punisher to ever exist.
Man, so I popped this on today, and like, as soon as that New World Pictures logo kicked up, I was like, fuck yes, let's strap in for this shit, I'm ready.
Yeah, this was, and I'm, after rewatching this for the first time in God knows how long, I will stand by my point that I don't think there's really such thing as a bad Punisher adaptation yet.
Well, here, hold on a second. The director of this film was originally going to cast Christopher Lambert
Whoa!
as the Punisher.
Oh my God, no he wasn't.
And the only reason that Christopher Lambert isn't the Punisher we have today is because he hurt his ankle or some shit and couldn't take the part. And then Dolph was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Can you imagine that? Like, I am going to punish the guilty.
God told me to kill everybody.
The innocent shall not suffer any longer.
I'm naked in this sewer.
You stole the exact line I was about to say.
Prepare for the final combat.
I look like I haven't slept in 2 years.
What I thought was awesome is director Mark Goldblatt, also after this movie, I felt like this was his test run for fucking Dead Heat, because he also directed Dead Heat.
Oh, I fucking love Dead Heat with Treat Williams and
yes.
Joe Piscopo.
Which is such a fun buddy cop horror movie, which is a mashup that's never been done since, I don't think.
I think,
But
well, that
so
RIPD bullshit, right? Is that what that was on Netflix?
That's not a horror movie, that's Hollywood bullshit.
I don't know. I've never even I've never even seen that shit. So the movie kicks off. Okay. I got a bone to pick with the score to this movie.
And how RoboCop-ish it is?
Not even how RoboCop-ish it is. It's very like spooky, like Ghost Story or like fantasy epic type. It's not very like. It's not like hard-hitting grunt. You know how like when we watch The Guyver and that fucking it's like industrial and like
yeah.
I don't know, like gritty. This is like I don't know. The best way I can describe it is like again like it was made for like a ghost movie or like a fantasy movie or something. It doesn't fit right. Like it's not gritty enough in my opinion.
It makes me think of like, you know, Demolition Man or fucking like any of those old Schwarzenegger movies, like the soundtrack's usually associated with them. To me, I don't know. I thought it worked personally.
My only gripe with it was that it would come in very brash. There was no like finesse to it.
Just like kicking the door open.
But yeah, I dug this intro too with like the different colored like bad guys
awesome.
like fading over
that,
things with like
so
the
good.
bullseye kind of thing going in and out. I really dug that.
So should we like plot crunch this real fast? Because that's pretty easy.
Yeah. Somebody want to do the honors?
Hey, you know who the Punisher is? There you go.
Hey, you know that Punisher guy? That's the movie.
Nah, I'm kidding. There's a little more to it. This is a weird representation of Frank Castle, where he's this kind of manic, constantly malnourished looking vigilante who sports no skull logo, and it's fine. Everyone get over it.
It totally works.
Yeah, and he is put in the middle of a war between the Yakuza and the local mafia. And that's basically it.
You know what, that guy that's doing that fucking campaign that removed the rat at the end of Departed, why doesn't someone make a fucking campaign to put the skull on Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, fight the good fight, people. What's wrong with you?
One of the most impressive parts I thought about this movie was how not inspired it was by the source material, but how much closer it got to any other Punisher adaptation.
It kind of works for me in that department because I think Frank Castle's a very malleable character, provided you stay within a certain curriculum and you kind of maintain his pillars.
I thought this one I think it predates Ennis's run on Punisher Max, but Punisher Max really took him to the street and put him against, mobster or criminal, and took that whole super aspect out of it. And that's what I liked about this movie.
Yeah.
More so than anything.
Yeah, he looks like everything he has is either handmade or just in crude condition, and his operation is completely shoestring.
The Punisher is always one of those characters that, it's a weird, thing that I'll compare him to, but he's kind of like Batman with guns. Like, Batman won't kill people, but he has like this very serious moral compass. And Frank Castle also, like, while he does constantly murder people, it's always criminals. It's always bad people. And like, he has this whole thing about like, hey, I do it to the people that deserve to die because justice isn't being handed out.
If you need a crash course in the moral ground of Punisher, just watch Daredevil Season 2. There's an excellent sequence in that show.
Well, my point is that he is one of those characters that I feel like over the years has been pretty consistent about what he is fucking trying to do. And I kind of respect that for a character.
Except when he was given holy AK-47s.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
Or when he became Frankenstein.
No, Frankencastle is one of the best Punisher runs. I stand by that.
Yeah, he also has like a bunch of like Connor was saying, like homemade weapons in this movie, and there's like totally knives with like skulls at the end of them.
Which I have to ask how he gets those made, because it doesn't look like he has any income coming in.
Is Shakes fucking sculpting them in the fucking sewer somewhere? Like, oh yes, I made a knife and then it took someone's.
Was that guy's name?
Yeah. I made a knife and it took someone's life because everything I say ends in a rhyme.
Do you have the time?
Holy shit, I did not pick up on that.
Yeah.
I was just like, this guy just called himself the thespian, so that's what I wrote down the entire movie.
Wait, a what? What did you just say?
Actor man.
They just expect you to put two and two together when you saw the remote control car, so.
Oh my god!
I fucking died when that part happened. Fucking Optimus Prime rolled up with a beer.
Frank's got stock in fucking Tycho.
But like, we're a little ahead of ourselves there, but we'll trust us. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the beginning of the movie, like I couldn't find her name on the IMDb, but I don't know how you guys felt about the bootleg Reba McEntire outside of the courthouse.
Oh boy.
Gave the interview to the mobster.
Oh, you mean mobster Tony Mobface?
Who then incited violence publicly in the news outlet.
Yeah.
As he just got out of jail.
Hi, my name's Dino Moretti, and I just got acquitted because this is America and crime doesn't pay. Fuck you, bye.
He's like, yeah, I'll show the Punisher what it means. I'll show the Punisher what it means to be punished. Gabagoo, and then gets into his car.
And then in broad daylight, out of complete Punisher fashion, there's Frank Castle in front of the courthouse in his Punisher costume.
Yeah.
On his bike.
Nobody goes, hey, what's with the guy in the black over there with the fucking guns on his back?
I bring up the fact that Dolph Lundgren is 6'5" for another reason, because you would fucking see this dude. He's a giant in all black clothing who looks like he might cause some trouble.
And he has a painted beard.
Who's that guy over there with the fucking Halloween makeup on? Looks like fucking Red Skelton, like doing a hobo routine.
He's been hanging around the courthouse for a few hours. Nobody can get a read on him. And then this movie has probably the shortest time between opening of the movie and Frank killing people, I think, in every adaptation so far.
Oh, it was like 3 minutes and 40 seconds in, he's already killing someone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and he fucking Batmans them. Like, he hits them from vents, he hits them from top of staircases. You don't ever see him.
Oh, it's great. He fucking... So you don't even see him, like, you see him in the background of the first shot, but, like, this Dino Marietti guy, he's a crime boss. He gets to his mansion, he's like, all right, boys, break out the fucking champagne. It's time to celebrate. By the way, check the house. And then all we see is, like, Dolph's feet come in a window, and I'm like, oh, shit, here it comes.
Don't forget the music.
Yeah, don't forget the fucking Sinatra. Put it on. And then this dude, like, they're, like, checking the house, and he walks into this mirror room.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Like a closet or something? That was odd.
The ex-wife demanded it.
The fucking orgy room.
He thinks he hears something, so he checks a closet. He opens it. No human being on Earth would fit in this closet.
No, it's like stocked with like a bunch of like hats and shit.
It's just shelves with like shoes and hats, and just like there's no room for someone to stand.
No, not at all.
And then that dude goes to leave, and just a hand comes down from a vent and stabs him in the chest.
And then the second person, he slits their throat. And then the third person immediately kills him with a noose.
Kicks him off a fucking railing.
Let me say something about this movie and people with concealed bladed weapons.
Yo, I love it.
Everybody's got one. Everyone's got dead aim precision with fucking throwing knifed objects. Everyone's got a pointy thing that pops out of a shoe or a wrist or their bracelets or their earrings. Everyone in this movie has bladed projectiles.
I fucking love it, dude. And
people throw knives left and right.
We are throwing knives all over the place, and I kind of love it.
And no one misses.
The lost art of knife throwing in action movies, this one takes the fucking cake.
It's like the secret technique among the fucking criminal undergrounds. Like, how's your knife throwing skills?
Right in your neck.
That and his boots look like something from an industrial festival, because why would you have giant reflective metal on your heel and toe of the boot when you're trying to be conspicuous?
They look like the Stompers from the Mario Brothers movie. That's what they look like.
Yeah, or whatever the manager wore at Hot Topic back in 2000.
And I'm sure they cost $75. I like he was trying to be conspicuous whilst wearing all black, looking like shit, riding a motorcycle in broad daylight.
Well, he also stares the reporter right in the face as the house blows up.
Yeah. So he fucking kicks this guy off the railing. And let me tell you about I want to talk about the fucking gratuitous violence in this movie. It's wonderful.
This movie is incredibly violent.
Whether somebody's getting thrown off of something or stabbed or shot, we got squibs going off. We got fucking blood shooting out of people's mouths. We got fucking stab wounds, the whole fucking 9 yards. We got impalements. We got multiple impalements. We got all kinds of wonderful gore.
We have people being impaled and then used as a tool. He takes all these yes men or wise guys.
Yeah, the wise guys out. And then he goes after the Don, and then it just cuts to the outside, right? And you're like, oh shit, he's getting the Don. And they hear, I guess, like the news crew is like right around the corner because they hear gunfire and they like run up to the house and they're like, oh shit, get the house, shoot the house. And then all of a sudden the fucking house explodes.
Well, yeah. No, first the door kicks open and it's the Punisher standing in the doorway covered in flames. They're like, there he is. And then the house fucking implodes.
First he stumbles out with the skull knife in his back and he hits the ground. Then Frank steps out and then no human being could escape the house in the time we get, okay?
Hey, you know who could survive that, Connor? Dr. Angelo and fucking Peter.
Yes, they could have, because they were fine with C4 going off all around them. Just duck and cover.
What's another Punisher explosion? It's fine.
Yeah, and then like Frank looks at the press and just takes 2 steps out of the door frame and the house blows up.
You just say, hey, press, fuck you. Bye.
Yeah, hey, press.
I'm the Punisher. Bye.
I constantly sound like I just woke up from a long nap.
Why was all this black shit all over my face?
Someone contoured my cheeks.
I'm really lacking in B12 right now.
Anybody got a fucking peanut butter and jelly or some graham crackers?
Can I please have a meal that's hot and ready? So then after the house blows up, we get this fucking tracking shot in the sewers and fucking Dolph's narration. Tell me, God, why did the guilty keep living and the innocent don't, or something?
Being naked in the sewers is part of my mantra.
Seeing the silhouette of my ball sack is before the credits.
It's really cold down here. I don't know why I keep doing this.
Look at my candle-lit ass cheeks glistening in the sewer gaslight.
And he's just like, I don't know, he's just fucking brooding to himself.
Yeah, he's brooding and talking to himself, and then like we see like a flashback because he's having like memories of his wife and kids dying in like a car explosion.
Woo! This was funny.
Well, yeah, he just got off the set of Miami Vice, and he was like, fuck, they're gonna kill my family.
Book 'em, Dano, kaplooey.
Oh no, save family.
Oh, wait, that was Hawaii Five-0? Yeah, my bad. Fuck that one up.
And in this flashback, his wife and kids just get into a car, and the car just explodes. You don't see who set this up or why it explodes, and then he runs up next to the car, and then it blows up again.
The thing I like about this movie is we never find out who the fuck killed Frank's family.
Nope.
It's just like, I don't know, some bad guys.
I mean, it's heavily implied that it's one character, but...
We'll get to that, but I have an argument.
Well, I thought it was the guy he killed in the beginning, and then the reason why the rest of the movie happens is because of the kids.
Oh, is that why? Oh, maybe it is him. Okay, all right.
That's how I took it, because that's what the guy got acquitted for not killing his family. That's what I thought. Maybe I...
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. I forgot about that.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. I thought he was...
No, they closed that plot hole, like, immediately.
Yeah, I thought he was, like, Punisher, like, he was, like, killing... Is it, though? No, because he's been killing people for, like, 5 years.
Yeah, but, no, Dave's right, because in the beginning, they have that scene with this news reporter talking about Frank Castle's family being killed 5 years ago, and the guys being acquitted.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I fucked that up. Yeah, you're right. Right over my head, because...
So, yeah, and then, like, the rest ensues because, they put the moral compass of the children in him. So he's like, oh, fuck, now I have to do this.
I gotta do it for the kids.
I was really looking forward to being naked in the sewers for the next week.
These goddamn children are interrupting my personal time.
I'll let you know when my vengeance is repaid, or whatever. So after the sewers and the little flashback, we fucking go back to the house, Don Moretti's house.
And Lou Gossett Jr.'s there.
Oh, he's there for sure. He's like, God damn it, it's fucking 3 a.m. He's like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, he's getting hounded by, like, these news reporters are like, oh, Mr. what's his name?
Berkowitz,
yeah. He's like, oh, Mr. Berkowitz, what happened with the thing and the explosion? A Punisher, question mark? And he's like, get the fuck out of my face. It's too early, bye.
And then a character who might as well not exist steps forward, and she's like, hi, I'm your new partner. I'm going to leave soon, and then not show up again for a half an hour.
Her name is Sam Leary, and I'm not exactly sure what's the point of this character? She, like, comes in, she's like, I think the Punisher is Frank Castle, or whatever.
They needed a reason for them to have the gambling scene, and she was the undercover agent for that scene. So
I didn't even know she was in that scene.
I was going to say, because, like, in her one scene where she's like, I have an idea, and fucking Berkowitz is like, it's a stupid idea, and just sits down.
Her character basically exists so that she can ask Berkowitz all the questions about the plot so that he can tell the audience.
Exposition.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's an exposition bumper.
She was like, remember, I was the hooker.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she does say that. And Berkowitz just looks at her like dead-eyed, and it's just like, okay.
You a real fucking plot device, you know that?
He goes, okay, detective.
Right. It just takes 2 steps away. They say here that this Frank Castle was an ex-cop, which is a bit of a departure from the comic, because he's usually an ex-soldier, and that him and Berkowitz were partners for a while.
And then I guess, who is this guy? Like, the commissioner or the chief comes up? He's like, we gotta wrap this up. He's like, we gotta get this fucking Punisher guy. We got orders from the mayor to kill him?
Yeah, do it. Just shoot him right there. Don't arrest him.
Yeah, no, that's what he says to Lou Gossett Jr. And Lou Gossett Jr. is like...
He also says, like, Frank Castle's dead. Move on. Which I didn't understand how that, like, paired.
Because he doesn't know Frank is the Punisher yet.
They know that Gossett Jr. thinks Frank is the Punisher because that's why he's been, like, kind of black sheeped in the force, because they're like, this fucking idiot keeps thinking that Frank is doing this when Frank is dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, Berkowitz is head of the fucking Punisher task force. He's like basically Commissioner Gordon.
One-man army.
That's where the skull is. It's on top of the fucking police station, and it shines into the sky.
He just has all these random shells. He's like, I got this in all of these. I was like, shouldn't those be in evidence bags?
Right? And what, he's just handling them without gloves or anything?
In a fucking gross box on his desk.
After Frank kills these mobsters, we get introduced to the next set of fucking antagonists. This piece of shit Franco, who's flying into fucking Miami.
Who's publicly interviewed by the news as a mobster.
Yeah.
Don't pay any mind that this is a affiliated mob member and coming over to take over the mob boss that just was killed. Let me get you on the 5 o'clock news.
Well, we don't have him on anything, so he can't go to jail, basically. And like, how you doing, Mr. Mob Guy?
You can't prove I did nothing.
Feels good to be back in the USA.
Excuse me, I'm with my kid. Thank you. Watch, he does a magic trick.
This kid's like fucking Mistake.
Urine Crab is this guy's name, and he's like fucking Icelandic, and he's sliding in and out of this fucking Italian accent.
He tries to stay like a fucking wise guy, gabba gabba yabba yabba, you know, the fucking mob talk, and it sometimes just, I'm like, where are you from? Talking to these other, like, pencil-necked fucking mob leaders, all these guys look very non-threatening. They look like office workers who are on lunch.
Well, then do you blame Franco for, like, because he has this whole plan where he wants to, like, end the family and territory system, and he's talking to one of his fucking henchmen about it, and it's like you see these other guys that are his competition, and like Connor said, they're a bunch of fucking wet blankets.
They're just like, yeah, what are we gonna do with a Punisher? Yeah.
Yeah, and then, wait, did his son thing happen already?
Yeah, that was prior to that meeting. That's where he just meets with his buddy, and he's like, this is the plan. Yo, go get some cheesecake, kid.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
that's
this
right,
is
that's
what
right.
we're doing.
Show, I'm paying all that money for that fucking Juilliard school. Show him the quarter trick.
I can do it with a $10 bill, too.
Why don't you go fuck yourself, little Tommy, okay?
Get out of here. I only love you when it's convenient.
This is 1989. $10 is a lot. It's a full tank of gas.
Buys a lot of cheesecakes.
How dare you waste that money on that dumb trick?
My daddy's not a mobster.
Yeah, oh God.
I don't even get that. Those kids' voices sound like fucking post, like they were added in post, because that girl does not sound like it's coming out of her mouth at all.
She's dubbed for sure. But so right after this, we get introduced to Shakes, and he's like in a bar somewhere. He's just like this old, disheveled, ratty-looking fucking British guy. And he's like in this bar next to this dude, this like the sports bar, and he's like talking to this guy. Now this guy talks in rhyme, and I don't exactly remember what the fuck he says to this guy, but he's basically like, do you have $1 you can spare for your local thespian? And the guy's like, what? A thespian? What the fuck's a thespian? And he's like, an actor, sir. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Here's $1. Bye. And then the fucking the bartender's like, hey, Anthony, get this piece of shit out of here.
The shot of the bartender was like, I don't know why he was squinting so hard and like so aggressively at the camera.
He was trying to kill him with his eyes.
He looks like a Punisher villain.
He does. Well, he looks like a Dick Tracy villain, so he looks like a Punisher villain.
Exactly.
You look like the poor man's Joe Cabot.
Oh, and his fucking mean-ass eyebrows. And then Shakes gets... Shakes? Shakes? Shake or shake? Okay. Yeah, he gets
jumps off the springboard out the door.
Yeah, he gets tossed out in his ass. And then we're introduced to the remote control 18-wheeler with a fucking bottle of booze in the back of it.
I was like, what the fuck are we... Like, the Punisher has a fucking... like a gaggle of RC cars that he keeps in the sewer, and he like drives this fucking RC car with a bottle of whiskey on it over to Shakes. He's like, hey, you were supposed to be here a half hour ago. Where were you?
3 hours ago.
Yeah, it probably took Frank longer to set this shit up than it did to actually drive to the fucking bar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's like, well, Shake is late, so I might as well go to the toy store. I might as well turn this into a thing.
He goes to like the clerk at Toys R Us. He's like, you think I could put a beer bottle on the back of this and drive it around?
How much weight does this RC car carry? Exactly.
I need to hold at least 16 ounces.
I'm gonna have to ask my manager. I'm not really sure.
Well, I got the bottle right here.
Are you Frank Castle? Who's Frank Castle? Just leaves.
What's a Punisher?
I don't have a skull on my shirt. Do you see a skull? I'm no Punisher.
You have makeup on your face.
Don't worry about it. It's my beard or whatever.
Depending on how much I'm sweating is how much beard I have.
Sir, your beard's running.
It's supposed to be like grime that's attached to his 5 o'clock shadow, but it's perfectly contoured along his cheekbones and just his upper lip. Like, it doesn't exist anywhere else.
It's like half-ass skeleton makeup.
Well, no, I mean, like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever used, like, beard dye, but it, like, leaves, like, a stain on your skin for, like, a day. And that's what his face looks like the entire time. Is like he had no hair and just put beard dye on his face. And it slowly faded as the movie progresses.
So he sends his fucking truck out, remote control truck, and Shake gets the bottle, and then they have some kind of intel exchange. Shake is this movie's hobo micro, more or less, without the technical skills.
Pretty much.
And the whole point of that scene was just for Frank to get information on the drug drop.
Yeah, so there's a huge deal going down now that he's taken out a bunch of the big mob bosses. So now they're all getting together to like make a big deal all the feuding families like start to get together to do like big drug deals. And fucking Shakespeare's just like, well, Mr. P, they're down at the docks. Bye. And then Dolph Lundgren goes off to fucking head him off. So then we get our first big fucking shootout of the movie, which is so fucking cool.
This is fucking glorious. And also features Frank just shows up to this thing. First, I only saw him have a crossbow. I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do with that? And he shocked the shit out of me with what he could do with that.
Well, the scene opens with like the wise guys, like one dude's in a car and like two dudes are on the boat or whatever. There's like a shit ton of people, right? There's like $500 million worth of fucking drugs like down in a truck. And all the families working together, so they like start fighting with each other, and the guy's like, hey, you fucking idiot, you can't fucking use a radio or whatever, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot you.
You motherfucker.
You motherfuck you.
You motherfuck you. And
Joe Pesci's there?
Yeah. Joe Pesci's in this gaggle of guys. So dude breaks him up, and he's like, hey, cut the horse shit or whatever, and he calls some dude on a radio, and he's like...
It's like, what you got? Bad kidneys, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Not even the first guy, he's like, hey, everything okay? And he's like, what? He's like sitting in a truck, and he's like, what? Everything's fine. And then a fucking katana comes through.
Katana flies through the windshield.
And impales this fucking guy. And I was like, holy shit, Frank's got katanas too.
Again, another example of people's proficiency with airborne bladed objects. This thing goes in like a fucking javelin, it perfectly, right to the fucking window. It doesn't shatter. It makes a tiny little hole and gets him right in the chest.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Also, who threw that thing? The Incredible Hulk? Like, how the fuck do you throw it that hard?
I think it was like jabbed through.
It's just that sharp.
Or do they have like a gun that just shoots swords?
No, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Oh my god, that'd be fantastic. I see you brought a sword to a gunfight. Well, my gun shoots swords. So then we get to the guy with the bad kidneys, and he gets a static check, and then boom, 2 fucking shots right to the back, and then he does a fantastic railing stunt.
He's like, I gotta take a piss. Boom, boom.
Well, prior to that, they take over the boat. You see, the first where the Asians are dressed as
the frogmen,
like the sea police, and then they take over.
Sea police.
I was so fucking confused during the scene, and then I realized, oh wait, I'm supposed to be confused. I thought I had missed something.
I thought Punisher was working with like somebody else, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? Or is that like Frank coming out of the water? Like,
it's a lot of chaos followed by like lots of shooting. This fake Coast Guard shows up and they just start murking these dudes left and right. It's just all of them do horrible jobs. They just get murdered left and right, tossed into the ocean, stabbed, shot.
I think you're glossing over this a little too much.
And then they take some of their outfits too, because when they first pull up, they're in the costumes of the other people that they killed.
Yeah. And someone jumps out of the water and throws these 2 little spiked balls at people and kills them.
They look like, what is that, like minesweeper things? They like throw it?
Look like a sea urchin.
Yeah.
They look like underground, they look like aquatic mines.
Somebody gets fucking depth charges.
Yeah.
And it looks like somebody gets a fucking dart, like right to, like a harpoon to the side of the head.
Oh, yeah.
And he fucking falls over the railing. There are so many deaths in the scene. I lost count, and I had a fucking grin on my face.
Oh, don't worry, because I have every Punisher kill count from every one of his on-screen appearances for the end of this episode.
Ooh, that's gonna be that's a nice finisher. Sweet.
Well, that and it carries on throughout multiple scenes in this film, but all the art of ninja that these Yakuza practice, they then show their face every time when they're about to kill someone.
Yeah, they all take their masks off.
All the time.
Just to let you guys know, let the viewers know that it's the Yakuza, not Frank Castle. And then it just like cuts to Frank, and he's like in a bird's nest somewhere, and he's like, oh, I brought my crossbow. Everybody's dead already.
He's like, I came grossly under-equipped. He's just sitting there. He's like, wait, I lost track of all the heads here. Who the hell's who?
I brought piss to a shit fight.
Time for a zip line.
Dude, this zip line was fucking amazing.
Yeah, but how did it say taunt?
I had the same thought, and I just kind of went with it.
What is it anchored to?
Well, the body in the car makes sense, but like Dolph Lundgren's a big dude. He would have to anchor that very well. And since he was previously shot at, I don't see where he anchored it.
I don't know, dude. He like panics and like shoots his crossbow into this fucking Asian man into a van, and then fucking zip lines, guns blazing down this fucking thing,
mowing people down.
It's glorious.
And this dude's body is just stuck to the fucking truck the whole time, acting as an anchor point. It's ridiculous.
I just have in capital letters shoot out because he's running around with a fucking shotgun, blowing people away. And
He does get shot in this scene, though, which then is followed by his self-branding.
Yeah, I thought he got a knife thrown at him.
No, he jumps on the van so he fucking kills everybody, and then the van's getting away with the drugs in it that the Yakuza wanted. So he jumps on the back of the van and then climbs up, hangs around the fucking side of the van, and throws a knife into the driver's throat.
Yeah, because he's driving with the window open for convenience.
It's a nice night, man. It's August. Dog days of summer.
Gotta smell that salt water there.
Look, the oceanside breeze is really nice, okay?
Just taking in the smell of the ocean, that's all.
So the fucking dude dies and the van falls into the, drives off the pier into the, whatever that is, the bay. Yeah. And then Frank rolls off, and then fucking we meet Lady Tanaka. She shows up and fucking, she fucking shanks him in the arm, right? And he goes flying off the dock.
Yeah, and then they shoot up the water. Well, you get the cop scene where they're like pulling the truck out of the water, and they're like, "This was all just mobsters versus mobsters," and he's like, "Really? There's a skull on this knife. You're calling me fucking crazy?"
What's stopping any other criminal from just fucking like making their own and just leaving these at crime scenes and pinning them on fucking Punisher?
I don't think anything.
He just brings it from crime scene to crime scene. He's like, look what I found.
They're calling in the station. They're like, "Hey, is that knife on his desk? Check to see if that knife's on his desk."
That's my letter opener.
Also, there's no such thing as petty crime. Only serious mobster-related crime exists.
So after the crimes, Lou Gossett Jr.'s there, and he's fucking walking around, whatever. And then we cut to the next wise guy meeting, and it's what the fuck's his name?
Oh, Franco.
Yeah, Don Franco's there, and he's like with all the other mob bosses, and he's like, "It was the Yakuza." And the guy's like, "Yak? What the fuck is a Yakuza?
What the hell's a yakety yak? I don't know.
Yeah. Don't talk back, you fuck." And he's like, what are you talking about? They're fucking Asian gangsters. What are they doing in America? He's like, "I don't know." And then Lady Tanaka comes in. She's like, "Hello, boys. You're going to give us 75% of all your profits, or we're going to kill you."
And then Pencil Neck number 1 walks up and gets his hand broken.
Yeah, this guy's got such a big fucking mouth.
Yeah, and is frequently shown up by whoever he's yelling at.
And she, breaks this dude's hand.
Another thing of note here is that she has this mute American adopted daughter with her.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know if she ever gets a name. I don't know if you guys caught it.
I have no idea what her name is.
I just put mute white lady.
No, another ninja though that reveals her identity immediately.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is the move that she does to that gangster is like Krav Maga move, which is what they teach police to restrain assailants. And so it was just hilarious seeing it because she just whips his wrist around his back, and then you wouldn't even break his arm that way, but they made it for the movie for it to break because all it does is dislocate the shoulder. And I was just like, they did a lot of research for this film, I can tell.
Yeah, she squeezes and then his whole arm breaks or something.
I swear they just went to a library and looked up Asian culture in an encyclopedia and was like, "All right, we got enough. We can. This makes sense."
They got tattoos on the backs.
They looked at the word Yakuza and called it a day.
All the while, Frank is listening in the fucking Ninja Turtle sewer den.
What the fuck? When did he bug this place?
Where is he, and how is he getting the fucking bug down there? What is happening?
He just has a can in the corner of the room attached to a string that goes all the way through the sewer into his can.
It's 17 miles of string running through the city.
I have a lot of spare time.
I ran it through all the different places so I can listen.
I'm really surprised that no one's come across it so far, because it's a lot of twine.
Campbell's cans work the best.
Stole these from a homeless man.
And Tanaka, she's basically just during the scene, she threatens all the mobsters. She breaks that guy's arm or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, if you're not going to listen to me, we have other ways of making you do it." And they're all like, "Yeah, piss off. We're not going to listen to you." And cut to...
Is this the slam cut of kidnappings?
Yeah, well, kidnappings and murder.
Oh my God, this is wonderful. The camera pushes into this room, and there's this nanny with a fucking cuddle panda, and these two kids sit on the floor. And she's like, this is Panda Bear, and he's a happy bear. What do you kids think of that? And they're like, we love him. And then the door gets kicked open, and she gets fucking shot right through the fucking Panda Bear.
You know what the best part is about that, though? I've just had this thought that was Cynthia Nixon from fucking Baby's Day Out, and I'm just smiling ear to ear.
Wasn't she a double agent, though, in that movie we were talking about?
Oh no, I appear to have been shot.
I was shot through the Panda Bear.
Oh God, I'm going to die.
My favorite part about this scene is that there's like squibs in the Panda Bear, so when it's shot, blood immediately bursts out of the front of it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Yakuza. You killed the only living stuffed panda. It's just like lots of shots of disembodied arms just grabbing kids, and then fucking Franco's son goes to get into a car, and then like the door opens and a Yakuza just pulls him in broad daylight.
Tommy. Yeah, he's like, hey, is this Paulie? Nope, Yakuza, and pulls him into the fucking stretch limo.
Weren't ready for this magic trick, were you?
Court is not going to save you now.
I made your dad disappear.
You made my dad disappear?
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Kid's having a blast the whole time. He's like, joke's on you. I don't like my dad at all.
Cue the Christmas music.
So then this is when the Spespian tells Frank about the kids being captured. He's like, I don't care. And he's like, you got to do it for the kids. Oh, okay.
And this is the part that I really noticed he was talking in rhyme, because he's like, if we don't save the children, they won't do the time. And if we don't get the crime, then the people will get away. And then that won't be good for the day. Or some shit.
I literally cannot believe I missed that.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I did not catch that once.
I noticed it the second time around, because I went back and kind of skimmed through it again just to keep it fresh, and I was like, is he talking in rhymes?
Yeah.
Whole time.
And he's like, come on, Mr. P, you gotta save the children.
And Frank doesn't bat an eye. But then again, I think this Frank kind of just goes in and out every now and then. Like, he just kind of like takes a little mini nap in between, like, not killing people.
I think it's the fumes in the sewer.
He's also like, I'm so malnourished right now that hate is only the thing keeping me going.
I just want a sandwich.
You wouldn't happen to have any, like, just peanut butter or crackers on you, would you?
I need a fucking stack or two.
I haven't seen the sun in 8 days.
You also get this quick scene back at the police station where fucking Leary is talking to Berkowitz about if on the computer we can locate him because he's got to live somewhere.
We can triangulate the thingamajig in this old DOS computer.
You can use a computer to do that? Can't wait to fucking see it.
He's like, I've looked up, down, left, and right. And she's like, you haven't looked under.
And we don't return to that plot point for quite a while. I just love the idea. She's like, I have this cool high-tech idea. Watch this. And he's like, just taps the board. He's like, your idea is stupid.
Yeah, his board with like 100 fucking red pins on. He's like, I've been keeping a track of all the murders
and not doing much. My wife left me.
So after the kids get kidnapped, you get another scene of the mobsters, but except now all the fucking cigarette smoke's filling the room because they're all stressed out.
Oh yeah, they're eating Chinese food or whatever. They got shawarma or some shit, and they're like, "What the fuck are we gonna do about the Yakuza?"
Yeah, Franco conveniently knows this fucking woman's whole backstory.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, you guys, sit down, guys. Let me give you an exposition dump."
This is where he drops the knowledge, like, yeah, her brother. This is what happened.
Her twin brother.
Yeah, her twin brother ratted them out and took some money from the Yakuza. And then she brought him home and made him dinner and then slit his throat. And he's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like, nothing. We can't do anything to hurt this woman.
I really wanted to quote, like, Dragon Ball Z Abridged and go, like, how do you know the parts you weren't there for?
Yeah.
Which is all of them in this instance.
And he's like, well, what are we going to do about it? And all, like, the smart guys are like, oh, we're going to go to the meeting and, just talk it out or whatever. Like, I could live on 25%. And Franco's like, we're going to war. And they're like, yeah, you do that, Franco. Bye.
This was a very confusing choice on the writer's part to name this character Franco and then have Frank Castle. Like, I mean, I get people have similar names, but, like, this is hard to fucking talk about.
Well, Franco's his last name.
I don't remember his first. His first name is Johnny.
Yeah, Gianni, or it's supposed to be Gianni. They, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to war, and then disappears for a little while.
Well, that whole plot of them going to the meeting isn't for like another half hour till they pick back up on it.
That's right.
Because after this, he's like, all right, I'm going to do it for the kids. And it goes to the gambling scene where the detective comes back in her cocktail dress, which you don't know until Gossett Jr. gets there. And he's like, oh, okay, that was the girl in the black cocktail dress because they only show the back of her head.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's why I didn't grab that. Okay. I think real quick, don't we go to the Yakuza hideout first to see the kids?
Oh, yeah, we go to Brown's daycare.
Yeah.
Fucking Steve Brul's there in the corner with a fucking microphone looking for candy.
Shush, shush, shush.
Yeah, you have this scene where the kids are all like basically in a pen, and fucking Tanaka comes in there with her daughter and her fucking henchmen, and she just starts handing candy to the kids, like trying to play like fucking like she's their caretaker or some like demented shit.
Here you go, take this. It's not poison, I swear.
Yeah, she's trying to comfort them, I guess. Do you think they're poisoned? They probably are poisoned, right? This little girl's like, I miss my mom. And she's like, it'll be okay. And she like wipes her tears away and then like gives her a candy.
It's probably got a sleep, sedative in it or something.
Oh, God, yeah. Franco's kid, this little kid's got some fucking balls on him. I got to tell you something. He runs over and like pushes over Lady Tanaka and he's like, get away from her, man. And this Yakuza guy picks him up and throws him into a fucking folding chair. And then they're like, yeah, fuck you, you little shit. Then Tanaka goes to leave and, there's still two Yakuza bodyguards. This kid picks up the folding chair and fucking racks this dude in the back and then gets fucking biffed right in the mouth.
He's like, I've seen WWF on TV.
He gets his fucking clock clean, dude.
Ultimate Warrior's my hero.
And then they just pick him up and like put him in like a separate cell like by himself.
They just scruff him and take him out of the room.
It was fucking so satisfying. Now we get to the underground fucking gambling scene. Dude, I didn't even so like Dave was like you guys were saying, like I didn't even realize that there was like this undercover operation this chick was running.
Oh, I had no idea either. I missed this entirely.
No, I thought it was just like, oh, here's some bad guys and I'm gonna go take them out.
Yeah, that's the only reason why there's that useless shot of the girl in the cocktail dress, like, going into it.
Oh, gotcha,
yeah, because I was sitting there thinking, wait, is that the detective? Is it not? And then it, like, I kind of came to the same conclusion, but it is kind of like you really got to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Before we get into the gambling scene, I want to talk about the song that's being played over this scene.
Oh, shit, what is the song? I can't remember.
Okay, I don't know about you guys, but is this the same fucking guy who sings that shitty dinosaur song from Tammy and the T-Rex?
It don't matter how old you are. I'm screaming for your mother today.
It could be.
He sounds like this, and he's singing songs about gambling or some shit.
All my lyrics are very literal.
Yeah, do the dinosaur.
Feel the rumble. Feel the roar. Dance to the music of the dinosaur. Ow!
It's gotta be him. I don't know what the fuck his name is. I forgot what it was.
Rumpelstiltskin.
My kind of world.
Yeah.
Have we just basically established that he's like some gruff-voiced Randy Newman who just like sings about what he sees?
Pretty much. Everybody's gambling sexy time in the underground place.
Oh, here comes a guy with a gun. Uh-oh.
Look out for Mr. P.
And there's also so many other weird elements to that scene because, like, as soon as it goes past the detective in the cocktail dress, it shows this like weird interpretive dance happening between these two topless women and this guy who clearly doesn't know how to dance on stage. And then they pan over to the left and there's this muscular woman flexing.
It's like a burlesque show.
And there's a guy at the bottom like, yeah, I'm into this, yeah.
Here's my fucking making it rain ones, baby.
What's this room for? Debauchery of all kinds.
Here's a red chip.
I guess that's what they're trying to illustrate here. Like, yeah, let's get fucking kooky in the underground gambling world.
There's no hang-ups in the pleasure chamber. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the gambling ring was like the size of a garage. So it's like there's just so much in a condensed area going on.
It's somebody's basement. Like, they couldn't afford the space, so they had to literally, well, we got to make do with what we got. Who's running this anyway? Is the Yakuza running this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a Yakuza.
Okay.
And then Frank does his best Batman impression.
Crashing through the stained glass.
Just the fucking stained glass window with a fucking grappling hook.
I'm telling you, man, he's Batman with a machine gun.
Yeah, somebody puts the book in the statue's hand and the fucking red jewel falls out and the liquor fucking crashes through this fucking window.
Why are there so many secret passages in this gambling place? Well, it used to be a museum.
An orphanage? What?
That doesn't explain anything.
Why do I need a medal to go to the bathroom? So yeah, Frank fucking crashes through the ceiling window and just starts shooting everything in sight.
First he grabs some guy and sends a message more or less, like gives him a threat to pass along, and then spends what felt like 45 minutes shooting everything in the room at least once. And he's just, I'm like, sir, wait a minute, hold on, I don't know where you're getting ammunition. Please calm down.
No, he's like holding it up, he's like Jesse the Body Ventura in fucking Predator. He's just got like a bunch of fucking ammunition.
It was everything but people, too. He was just shooting every machine and table. He wasn't actually shooting any of the people gambling.
No.
Yeah, the only guy he shot was the guy with like the fucking briefcase of money that tried to like run away as he's firing, and he hits him with a fucking bazooka shell or some shit.
He shoots him with a grenade?
Yeah. So he's fucking lighting this place up with a machine gun while simultaneously like pumping grenades into the walls and shit. And this shit goes on for like 5 minutes.
There's like some poor bastard in the corner just playing the fucking penny slots, like trying just to win a few dollars, and he's getting shot at.
The reality is Frank went through the window and then kind of, passed out on his feet again and comes to and he's like, oh man, I thought this was a room full of pedophiles. I forgot where I was for a second.
Oh man, there's no kids here.
Oops.
I could have ripped that Band-Aid off real fast, but now I have to actually go look for some kids.
I think they're at the amusement park. Bye.
That's where kids go, right? I don't know anything about kids anymore. What are they like?
Did they establish like what state this takes place in? Because I missed that.
No.
Okay.
I think it's New York because we definitely go to Coney Island soon.
Well, is that what that amusement park is on Coney Island? Because I was just like,
Yeah.
Okay, is it Coney Island or is it a legally distinct but still representing Coney Island?
Unless it's just an amusement park on a pier called Coney Island. Amusement park.
Welcome to Little Coney Island on the coast of Massachusetts. And then he goes to Shake, and then he's like, him and Shake pull a motorcycle, and Shake's like, the kids are in there. Bye.
Yeah, okay. Shake's like, but the kids are in the Coney Island amusement park. At least that's what my source told me. Can I have one of those guns? And Punisher's like, why don't you just stay out here? I'm gonna take the motorcycle. Bye.
Listen, I'm barely aware enough to use a weapon.
He fucking drives this motorcycle into the fucking amusement park?
everywhere.
Like, into the building.
Before they go to Coney Island, there's that quick scene following up the casino bust where, like, Dave was talking about where that detective is there, and she's, like, in her street clothes now talking to Berkowitz.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And she basically, like, it says, oh, the Punisher, he has the kids, he's got them kidnapped. And Berkowitz is like, no, he wouldn't do that. And she's like, oh, what do you know? And he pulls out the fucking picture of Frank Castle's kids.
That's right.
And he's like, because I just know, like, who Frank is.
It's kind of a weird thing that he has a picture of somebody else's kids.
Yeah. I mean, they were murdered in a car bomb. I kind of get that.
Well, we found out later, like, the connection between him and LGJ, but, like, this is also the scene, too, where the cops find out that the Yakuza's here. Because they're like, we got these two guys, but they won't talk. And he's like, turn them around real quick. I'm going to rip the shirts off. See that tattoo? Yakuza.
It's like he could have just said, lift the shirt. Instead, he whips the dude around and just tears his clothes off.
Well, that, and there was no, like, definitive idea of what a Yakuza tattoo was. It was just an Asian traditional tattoo.
Yeah, it was just a big back tattoo.
From what I understand, tattoos are frowned upon in Japanese society, period, because if you have them visible, you're considered to be one of those types of people and or work for the Yakuza.
Right. That's a big stereotype over there.
They use it. They use tattoos the same way like a predator would like fluff out their body. Like they show up somewhere and like they just take off their sleeves.
Well, yeah, but they would have like a full suit, not just a back piece.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They'd be covered in head to toe.
There's one thing I did pick up on this movie, and that's where you first see it. Is I thought there was very clever product placement because Gossett Jr. has a Reeboks jacket.
Oh yeah.
On in this scene, and then when they go to the Coney Island scene, there's a Miller beer truck in the background. And I was like, oh, that's very clever. It's not like stupid in your face, but it was like, we help pay for the movie.
You mean no one was like, I'll go look up the location on my Sony Vaio?
Yeah. Let me just use my Apple device.
Yeah, that's where the 9mm came from.
So, and then Frank is wandering around this fucking, like it's like a multi-amusement building.
Well, he went into an amusement park and then drove his bike into a Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I didn't understand, like, what happened.
Not only does he do that, but, like, this is, like, if the kids are in there, that's one thing, but, like, this is clearly a trap. And you're just fucking riding your hog in there, and he's like, and then like turns it off, and he's like, "Hey, any Yakuza kids in here or what?
I'm so malnourished. I hope this isn't a trap.
I haven't eaten in days.
I kind of, honestly, if you kidnap me, can you at least give me a meal?"
Am I gonna have to kick some Yakuza ass or what?
And he's like, "I probably should have walked in here. That motorcycle's really loud."
Yeah, he sneaks into everywhere, like every other scene except for this.
Yeah, what's up with that?
"Hello, Yakuza, I'm on my way."
I hope this doesn't take too long. I haven't slept since the gambling ring.
You're right, he hasn't.
Is there any slot machines for me to shoot in here or what?
There's barely anything in here. What is this?
I'm gonna kill a seesaw.
Don't they have a vending machine or something?
I'm gonna kill an ATM.
And then the most ninja entrance of the fucking Yakuza. They come down the slippy slide.
Oh my god. The fucking Yakuza coming down this fucking giant kid slide shooting at him?
In waves of 4, on their knees, on the slide that has the fucking bumps, they're just like, and they're just shooting machine guns.
They've got some serious rug burn.
It's an amusement park slide. You need the little sack to go down on. These fucking dudes are sliding down, shooting these fucking machine guns, and it's amazing.
They greased up, man.
It's the whole thing. It plays like a fucking Virtua Cop level. Like there's people in ridiculous placements. Like Frank's just picking them off as they're popping up behind pillars.
Reload.
Well, speaking of Virtue Cop, they're also all in ski masks in this scene, which I didn't understand. Like, why are they wearing ski masks if they're ninjas?
Because they're the Foot Clan, man. So they come down there. One of them walks up to Frank and he's like, "What the fuck are you supposed to be?" "We have a message for you, Mr. Castle." And then he smacks him in the face.
Yeah, and then the mute girl just identifies herself like, "I'm here too, but I'm not going to say anything."
I thought it was Lady Tanaka. I was like, well, you're the only womanly shaped body in this whole room. It must be you.
Well, the best part of this scene, besides the fact that they beat the shit out of him and they capture him, is he basically gets in this gunfight and realizes he's on the losing end, so he goes to fucking book it on his motorcycle, and one of them takes a fucking chain and whips him off the thing, and he crashes through like a plexiglass thing.
The precision of that chain whip.
Well, again, everyone has dead aim when it comes to throwing things or any kind of melee weapon that leaves their hand. It's like the Force. They just know where it's going to fucking go.
Auto lock on.
Well, he goes through this glass sheet and he fucking lands face first on this concrete floor, and he's just like, he gets up immediately.
And somehow isn't unconscious, and then is only conscious enough to get his ass beat by 15 people. They're like, "Get up." He's like, "I can't, I'm really tired. Just beat on me here. I'm just going to curl up. All right, good night."
Can I just take a nap right here, please? Good night. I don't feel pain anymore because everything else is pain.
He's starting to go into like Gunnar Henson territory with this voice. Let's be real. It's been 25 days since I held a sandwich.
It's been 25 days since I killed a slot machine.
If I wasn't a cop, I'd have rations.
Yeah, where's my MRE stash? So Chick takes off her mask, and I thought it was Lady Tanaka for sure, but it's fucking mute witness. White chick.
It's Lady Knives or something. I don't know what the fuck to call her.
Lady Ear Knives.
She's like, "I got a knife up my sleeve. I got a knife in my shoe. My earrings are knives. My wristlets are knives. My hair is knives. Every strand."
I exude knives.
Yeah, my fingers turn to knives, my toes turn to knives.
Yeah, so they capture him and bring him to fucking Foot Clan headquarters, and they have him on like a stretcher rack. So Frank's on a fucking stretcher table in Tanaka's hideout, the Foot Clan's hideout, and he's like got chains on his feet and his hands, and she's got this little remote control that stretches his body out like an old school torture rack with like the wheel.
Yeah, they have a whole room devoted to this. There's nothing in this room but 2 stretch racks.
And 2 doctors that wear red high heels, apparently.
What the fuck was that about? That took me a second.
Oh, man. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that one. But so she's stretching him out, and she's like, I don't even know what her goal is here. Like, what does she want? What information does she want to get out of him?
What could Frank possibly know that would assist them? Like, who are the mobsters? I just know that mobsters exist. I don't know their names.
I kill mobsters for a living.
You wear a night suit, I kill you.
Look, I forgot all of yesterday, okay? I'm a really unreliable source of information right now. He just fucking nods off.
Yeah, she's like, okay, so you have a high tolerance for pain. How about I do it to your buddy? And then shakes his like on the other table, and he's just like, he never cries out in pain.
Stop moving the rack, you'll break my back.
Well, another funny thing about this scene is like, they don't hold the stretch position.
No.
Like when they're stretching, like you could tell they're extending their body, and then they're like, all right, and then he press stop. Okay, I'm gonna relax.
Yeah.
Like if it was a medieval stretcher, you wouldn't be able to then relax.
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the best stretch you've ever had. Like he's gonna stand up from that and go, well, I feel really limbered.
Wow, that really helped my sciatica.
That was the first bit of stretching I've done in years.
Time to go punish again.
So then he makes his daring escape as they go to interrogate Shake or something. They're going to torture him. And he starts to... Okay, who the fuck designed these handcuffs?
Okay, there's a wing nut holding them together.
And he just starts unscrewing it with his fucking thumb. Like he's got no leverage or anything. He just thumbs have biceps. He's just fucking unscrewing this thing. And then he looks at one of them and goes, hey, come here, I got something to tell you. And then, like, they take 2 steps over, it cuts. He does not have this thing all the way spun off yet. And then it just, blah, and then just breaks out and says, sayonara, and takes the gun and shoots these 2 guys.
Do you think Lady Tanaka, like, after the fact came in and was like, how the hell did he escape? Well, you know those wing nuts we told you? She's like, damn!
Remember we told you about cutting costs on handcuffs?
It's not even like halfway off, and he just like, he's like, come here, guys. Oh my god, that was so good. He just pulls the fucking guy's gun out of his pants and just blows these guy away.
It was like that moment from Inglourious Basterds where he's like, what does he say? Say goodbye to your dick or something like that, and then shoots him in the peanut, like the balls a couple times.
Sayonara.
And then he frees Shake and he's like, let's go save some kids, I guess.
But before, another thing with that scene outside of the red heels on the stretcher at the end.
On the doctor guy.
Yeah, they put one of the doctors on the stretcher, yeah.
Is the fact that he didn't put his shirt on. It was like, well, now I'm stretched and now it's more of a midriff, so I'm just going to wear the jacket.
Yeah.
No t-shirt needed. I'm like, why doesn't he have his t-shirt on? Did Dolph Lundgren literally just want a scene where he was shirtless?
Hey, it's a living.
I mean, I'm sure somebody wanted a scene where he was just shirtless.
We already saw his ass cheeks.
Yeah, he was full nude already. Like, okay.
And you'll get the full nude again, don't worry.
In the epilogue. So, by the way, Tanaka's like, fine, well, I gotta go to a meeting. And he's like, hey, Tanaka, have a nice day. Bye.
She's like, was that supposed to be a thing, a threat, a catchphrase, something? What was that? And he's like, I don't know.
That, and I love the trope of like Tanaka like over-sexualizing the torture.
Oh, yeah, she loves it.
With her fucking pinky ring, she's like,
yeah,
you take torture very well.
Yeah, she's rubbing him down. She's like, I'll be back, big, tall, white guy.
You have a high threshold for pain. I was married. Twice.
So then it cuts to fucking Lou Gossett Jr. and Sam Leary in the fucking sewers looking for the old pneumatic railway.
Winston.
As soon as I saw those yellow slickers.
That yellow rain jacket.
Yeah, that's what did it. It's a river of slime.
They just hear from down they hear from one quarter away, slime.
Did you hear that? Sound like a fat Canadian
We
man.
just discovered some kind of psychoactive ooze. Anyway, what are we doing down here again?
They're trying to find Frank Castle's, like, fucking hovel.
Lair.
Follow the scent of burning candles.
Oh, you know what? You get this little backstory information that, why do you defend this Punisher character? And he explains, well, I used to be down in the dumps and I used to be an alcoholic. And then here came shiny new detective Frank Castle, and he picked me up from my bootstraps and he helped me out. So I feel like I owe him.
Here's the thing. If the person who saves you from being the worst you is Frank Castle, you've got some issues to work out, dude. I don't care if it was before his family was killed. He still had that in him. Like,
Yeah. And apparently, like, he was, like, super close with him, too. Because he, like, knew he knows the family really well and the kids. So now, right after this is that scene in the fucking restaurant.
Oh, man.
The second, like, wise guy meeting.
Hey, have you ever seen The Godfather? Remember when Michael shoots that cop?
This was like my favorite scene of the movie.
this scene's very bizarre, but it's very intriguing because it just kind of ramps up the weirdness as it progresses. And it's like a second by second thing. You're like, I haven't caught up with you yet. You already have knife earrings. What the fuck?
Yeah. So the wise guys are all sitting around a table and they're like, yeah, this fucking deal's bullshit or whatever. And then Lady Tanaka comes in and all of the other patrons stand up and shoot the shit out of the wise guy's henchmen behind them.
She also has 12 American sleeper agents.
Yeah, like old fucking women.
One being a 70-year-old grandma, single-handing an AK-47.
Don't fuck with Grammy. And then they kind of have an exchange, and one of them, I think, says, like, what, are you gonna kill us? And then she hits him with the fist of the North Star, and she's like, you're already dead.
He's like, well, fucking do it already if you're gonna do it.
Prior to that, the big mouth guy was like, you're not gonna drink the wine? He's like, no, oh my god, fucking cold.
He said, I'm on medication.
And refuses to drink the alcohol.
Medication. What a tough wise guy. So, Lady Tanaka like picks up a glass of champagne, and she's like, champagne, and then she like does the finger trick with like the singing glasses, and chokes these men to death with the sound.
See, I thought they were poisoned.
Yeah, I thought
but then
they were
she does
poisoned.
this,
Oh.
and it's like, I'm like, did you lace the wine with tiny bombs that only go off when you play this like super high? It's like a dog whistle. Like,
I thought it was just a timing thing, like she like timed her arrival.
Okay.
For like the poison to set in.
they're just waiting outside in their vans, like, any minute now.
But whiny medication guy, he didn't drink it, so he goes to run away, and fucking mute daughter throws her earrings at his hands, and he's...
Gets fucking crucified at the restaurant.
First of all, these earrings change shape midair because they start as earrings, and then when they're thrown, they must grow like 4 inches because they're able to pin this guy against the wall.
She's always ripping these things out of her ears too. Do they just like grow back?
She has extras in her hair. She just pulls them out and she just fucking reattaches them.
Yeah, I feel like a real fucking idiot for not even realizing about the poison thing because it was so subtle, and I was like, I just got it right now when you guys said that.
Tanaka also shows it demonstrates her skill with the one-liner, takes this dude's pistol from his fucking jacket and says, you refuse the drink, we'll have the chaser, and sticks the revolver in his mouth and pulls the trigger.
Oh, it's fucking great, man.
Even without on-screen death, this movie is very graphic.
Yeah.
People are getting offed in really horrible ways.
There's a lot of guns in mouths, too, yeah.
Yes.
So then, Punisher steals a bus.
I was supposed to go pick up some clowns along the way. I think I missed my stop.
Boppo, I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble. That's what's gonna happen.
You get off the bus, wino man. I gotta go pick up some kids.
I gotta go help Heath Ledger rob a bank. So Frank steals a bus and just fucking turns into a siege weapon, more or less, because only Frank Castle could.
Yeah.
He storms this building with the bus, and he fucking starts shooting people left and right. And he finds the children, he starts to rescue all but one because Tommy's missing. Tommy is Franco's son. He's been kind of carted off. There was a moment during this big action sequence where, like, Frank's driving the fucking bus full of kids, and he, like, rams it through some structure where some guy is on, and then that guy falls into the bus.
Yeah, he phases through the bus.
Dude, okay, it's like a blockade, and it's the Yakuza and mob guys, and he drives the bus through this truck, and the Yakuza guy dives through the windshield into the bus, like on purpose. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yo, if I was Frank Castle, I would take that guy a whole lot more seriously from that moment on. It was like, this guy's crazy.
And he's fucking, and then like, what does he do? Does he like kick him out or some shit?
Oh, yeah, I was watching that and I was like, how did he get inside?
Yeah, dude, he kamikazed into the fucking bus to get
He's
Frank.
like, not today, scumbag. Just dives through the fucking windshield.
And then along with all the other deaths and killing that's in this movie, they even have the children killing in this movie because then the one dude is hanging
great.
onto the window and they're playing Little Piggy Went to the Market with him and he fucking then gets ran over by his buddy.
That was pretty graphic.
When this guy drops and gets run over by this fucking car, I was like, oh shit. Like,
Gets his whole ribs caved.
This was the point in the movie where I just said, this is fucking Indiana Jones. Like, straight up.
He is very swashbuckling for the Punisher.
I love how like Frank was like, stay on the bus, don't leave. It's just like, did you really think they were going to go anywhere?
Where else are we gonna go? We don't know where we are.
We're just as malnourished as you are.
Look, I don't know where I am half the time, okay? Do as I say, not as I do. Just get down and get under the seat. Here we go. I'm gonna run this guy off the road into a fucking extermination truck and they're gonna explode 20 times.
Yeah, that was odd.
because that's what happens next.
And during all these scenes of like the cuts, if you pay attention to his beard, you can tell how many takes they did because his beard looks different every time they cut back to him during this scene.
It's freshly painted, and then like they cut again, and it's just barely there, and they cut back, and it's freshly painted again.
Or he'll be missing the mustache some of the time.
Yeah.
He also has like painted bags under his eyes that are like way too intense.
Well, especially like right after when he did the self-branding, he looks like a heroin addict when they show that scene because
He looks like shit. He looks effectively like shit. I'm like, he looks so terrible. I would believe he wouldn't be able to stand up.
It looks like bad theatrical makeup, like you'd see like on a Halloween makeup kit, like on like the picture.
Yeah. And he's kind of got this like machinist look going to him. He just looks all fucking sunken in and everything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Dolph Lundgren at 6'5" and 113 pounds?
That's terrifying. He's like Slender Man at that point, right?
That would be scary shit.
So then there's like a police blockade, and Frank comes up to it and like pulls the bus up next to it and then opens the door and lets the kids out. And basically he just like gives himself up to the cops.
he also handles that bus like it's a Ford Escape.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that bus would have handled that turn.
No.
In any way, shape, or form, the way he spun that.
No, he would have flipped and crushed those cups.
Mr. Castle, you ever driven one of these before?
I don't remember, but I think my muscle memory is taken over. I have my Class 2 license. It's fine.
So this sequence in the jail cell is actually my favorite one from the movie.
It's pretty good, man. I actually like this.
Because this movie gets shockingly real for a couple seconds. Mm-hmm. And because also, I don't think in any of the adaptations so far is you have like a level-headed person walking up to Frank Castle, the Punisher, and just smacking the shit out of him like an upset dad.
This also has the best line of the movie as well.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so first there's like this close-up shot of Frank, and he's like having a bad dream. He's having a dream about his wife and kids, and here we get like the full scene where he's like coming home from work and his family's getting in their car for whatever reason, and they like explode, and then like they're not blown up all the way yet, and he like runs to the window and he's like banging on the window because his wife and kids are in there, and then the car explodes again, and somehow he survives because he's like right next to the fucking car when it blows up.
He is up in the car's business when this thing goes off.
Well, this is also where you find out, because, Berkowitz slaps the shit out of him, and then he goes, you killed 125 people in 5 years. What justifies that?
No, he said, what do you call that? He's like, work in progress.
Yeah, fucking so good.
A job well done. I call that a good start.
No, I love this whole sequence because he gets in there and he kind of tries to level with Frank. Like, he tries to talk to him as his friend, and then when that doesn't work, he just gets down on his level and just starts yelling at him in his face, and he's like, what is he saying to him? He's like, snap out of it, like, wake up, or something like that. He's like, he's telling him.
Louis Gossett Jr. is just like, let me in, Frank. I did with my family too, motherfucker. Let me in, motherfucker.
Yeah, let me in. And, like, fucking Frank is just putting his hands up, not defending himself, just like, stop hitting me.
He's like, can you stop hitting me, please? I'm in a bad place.
And, like, Dolph Lundgren's just stone face, and Louis Gossett Jr. is like spitting all over him, like, motherfucking Frank, let me in, Frank!
It's kind of an awesome exchange that I don't think anyone's really done before with this character on screen. Like, no one has belittled him like he's a child. Successfully, anyway.
But he was supposed to be like his best friend or whatever, so.
Yeah, but at this point, like, his friend is acting so stupid, he might as well take the approach of an angry father. Where he's just like, okay, you don't listen? I'm gonna start giving you hands.
This scene was like the equivalent of a parent not understanding their child listening to emo music.
God damn it, Frank, I told you to stop listening to the death metal.
It's just a phase. It's not a phase, Dad.
You just don't get Bauhaus, Dad.
I'll buy my boots where I want.
I'll wear black pants with chains on them if I want to.
It's called industrial.
I'm gonna run away, you'll see.
And he does.
So Lou Gossett Jr. he's like, all right, fine, fuck you, bye. And he's like, I can't help you. Now you're fucked.
Doesn't he
And
give
he
him a good old fuck
resigned.
you, too? He just ends it, but he's like, all right, fuck you, Frank. Just...
He literally says, fuck you, Frank, and leaves. So Frank's about to get put on trial, right? And it's all over the news, and Franco is sitting in his kid's room, because, now remember, Tommy wasn't rescued. He's still captured by the Yakuza, you know.
There's also that subplot, which we didn't really talk much about, but that it's implied that the Yakuza is going to take the kids that they took from the mobsters and sell them as slaves.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy. That was the whole reason that, okay, we forgot to say that, but like, that's the whole reason Shakes proposes to Dolph Lundgren, and he's like, but they're gonna make them slaves in the black market trade, and he's like, sucks for them, or whatever. I kill bad guys, I don't save kids.
Yeah, I'm not a babysitter. But I love how the scene plays out, because they didn't really have to say anything. Like, Franco's just watching the TV, and it says, like, oh, Frank Castle, blah, 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 saved all the, children who were kidnapped. And he kind of just has this look like, huh. And then I don't think he says anything. It just cuts, and then you kind of know what's going to happen. I thought that was really interesting.
There's a scene of Frank in the paddy wagon with Leary, and she's basically grilling him.
She's like, Berkowitz was your friend, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, basically telling Frank, like, how Berkowitz was bearing this by himself for 5 years when he could have been there for him. And I'm like, that's not even, what are you talking about? Like, Frank's actual wife and actual kids were killed
in front of him.
Yeah.
Why would he console the other person about his, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a shocking amount of insensitivity coming from someone who's never faced that kind of tragedy.
Yeah. Why don't you care about his feelings about your family that died?
I'm a detective.
I was also a hooker once.
Is it my time to leave the movie yet? Oh, okay, here we come. I'm gonna get hit in the face with a gun and disappear.
It just about is. She fucking Joe Estevez's. She just leaves the film.
I think when Franco clocks her with the gun, she turns into dust. So, yeah, Franco fucking pulls out in his fucking Corvette and, like, runs the fucking paddy wagon off the road. And he's got, like, some kind of spray chemical. He's like the fucking Joker for a second with, like, knockout gas or some shit.
He's like fucking Kevin from Split. He sprays him with, like, I don't know, chloroform, something. Like
Lysol.
Yeah, it's just like soap, and Frank's like, no.
Oh, shit.
Just passes out.
You're gonna lose my beard.
You're gonna spray off my facial hair.
I'm melting. What a world. What a world.
It's just water.
Yeah. It's lavender essential oil.
He can't handle the nutrient overload, so he just passes out. Too much. I just need drop.
Franco takes, the Punisher back to his hideout, and he's got him all chained up. And, he wants, the Punisher basically to go get his son. And he's like, fuck you.
Yes, he does.
And the guy's like, okay, you're going to play hardball? All right, bring the guy in. They come and they got fucking Berkowitz tied up. He's like, yeah, okay, you're not going to help me? Well, he's like, how about a life for a life?
Frank's like, who are you again?
Where am I again?
Do I know? Who are all of you?
And you were there, and you were there.
Cybo Man was there. John Hurt was there.
Oh, God. So Castle agrees, and then him and fucking Franco have to buddy up. I think at some point, doesn't Franco offer him body armor? And he's like, nah.
Hold on. We're missing the best part here. We cut to Lou Gossett Jr. being held by this guy. like one of Franco's henchmen, and he's like, "Hey man, I really gotta take a piss. I'm gonna leave a yellow stain on your boss's shit." And he's like, "All right, fine." And he's like, "Well, are you gonna hold my dick or are you gonna fucking take these handcuffs off?"
Yeah, and then bamboozle them with the tried and true method of "I have to pee."
Yeah, but this is the best part because this guy's my favorite guy. The "Hey man, I got the pizza" guy, because like. Lou Gossett Jr. is about to leave, and he shoots this dude, and this guy comes in for literally a split second and goes, "Hey, I got the pizza!" And he shovels the pizza in this guy's face and shoots him in the chest.
And then he bends down and picks a slice up and takes a fucking bite.
"Hey, man, I got the pizza" guy is the best.
That guy was just a delivery driver.
I love it. Like his friends are like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a part in that movie, The Punisher." And he's like, "Oh really? What part do you play?" "Hey man, I got the pizza guy."
We never even saw your face.
No, because it's covered in pepperoni. He doesn't even turn that corner all the way before that pizza is up and in his face.
No, like he's got the box open in his hand and he's pulling a piece out for himself. He's like, "Hey man, got the," and like the cardboard is obscuring his face and just blam.
Dude, I had to pause because I was laughing so hard.
The pizza stayed intact, though, because the slice that Gossett Jr. took looked perfectly fine. He was like, "I got to maintain my caloric intake. Can't turn out like Frank."
Hey, did you bring me a slice? Oh, it's got anchovies? No thanks.
I don't like meat lovers.
God damn it, Frank, why are you so complicated?
Didn't they have any Hawaiian?
So this is where Franco and the Punisher team up.
And go siege a building from Only God Forgives because everything's lit with fucking big red neons.
Well, they cut the power, so...
This whole Yakuza hideout is really fucking cool. There's like all soft white lighting all over the place because there's like rice paper walls all over the place. And then when they cut the power, it's like bathed in like red and it looks really cool.
But there's so many flaws with this scene because I feel like they built it up like a fucking video game level. It's like a level, it's literally like a level of Contra where they just like come in and blast all these guys practicing with wooden swords, and then they shoot a guy in a hallway through paper-thin walls at each other, but they don't hit. Like Frank and Frank Castle are shooting that guy in the hallway through the walls.
At each other, yeah, but they don't...
At each other. And like,
they don't shoot themselves.
There's also, like, if you looked at this from a top-down view, you're like, there's a mob, there's a single enemy, and there's a mob. Like, they are structured like Doom villains.
And then there's the fucking mini-boss with the grappling claw.
Oh, man, those guys were great. Can somebody, real quick, please somebody explain to me why Franco is dressed like Daryl Hall?
What, with his acid denim jacket?
Yeah, the denim jacket with the fucking collar popped and shit.
He's trying to look casual. He doesn't want to be saw as a mob in the public.
I haven't gone out and mafia'd in a long time. I better dress for the occasion. Well, I won't dress too expensive.
Fell out of the rich girl video.
It's like a fucking members-only jacket, like a blue turtleneck or some shit like that.
Well, Frank, he leaves behind fucking the thespian with the C4 on the fucking electrical box.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, here's the trigger. At 15 minutes, hit the first button, and then, I forget what he, like, then hit the second, another 15 after that.
Yeah.
And the guy's, like, fucking drunk and fucking around, reading a book, God knows what, and he drops the goddamn trigger in a sewer vent.
Yeah, and he, like, pokes the first button, so he's trying to get it out of there, and he's like, "Oh, I dropped the fucking remote." And he, like, pushes a fucking knife into the first button, and that blows the fucking electrical box, so all the lights go out, like, prematurely. And then he, like, shoots he, like, puts okay, so then Frank and Franco, for Jesus Christ.
Franco and Frank law firm.
Franco and Frank, here's our business card. They're like going through the thing, and like Dave said, they get to the fucking mini bosses, and they're like dressed as like Shogun warriors, and like they're pretending to be statues, and then one of them's got a fucking sword, and the other one's got like a knife at the end of the chain. I don't know what you call that kind of.
Oh yeah, he has a grappling claw.
Oh yeah, is that what it's called?
And he's using it as a weapon. Well, it's what they used to climb, but he's using it as a weapon.
I thought that was a weapon, like the chained thing.
If you swing anything in this Frank Castle's face, he'd be like, "Whoa, hey, cut it out."
If it had a knife on it, it'd be a kunai, which is like what Scorpion uses, but like he has
that's what I thought it was.
He clearly has a grappling claw because it hooks onto Frank's shoulder at the one scene and pulls him down.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
shit.
the funniest part is like there's two dudes in the room and the other dude's like, I'm just going to stand here very still and watch my friend get killed. And then his friend gets impaled on the wall, and there's a really sick long pan shot where you see him fighting the second guy with the other guy still impaled on the wall.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, every sword on the walls is sheathed, but he falls on a fucking guitar rack full of swords.
He falls on those Klingon war blades or some shit like that. It's just fucking pointy shit.
It looked like Katana's fans from Mortal Kombat that he fucking
For
fell
sure.
on.
I was just about to say that.
Which he would have to fall so aggressively on that because the weight distribution with that many points, it wouldn't have gone through him that easily either. But I mean,
it's a very ginger fall.
Yeah.
Katanas fly through windshields in this movie, so clearly.
Yeah.
I think Frank uppercuts him onto that fucking thing, and then he's like, "See you later, stick around."
By the way, Frank's hand-to-hand sequence in this movie all look like someone who is malnourished and lacking on sleep. He's falling all over the place, he's fucking throwing wide punches. He's just laying down for seconds at a time. He's like, ugh.
Well, this is before he studied for Rocky, so I mean, he wasn't prepared.
He dies.
That's what happened. This Frank Castle went on to become a boxer.
And then he gets to the final boss, which is, Tanaka.
Yeah, in kabuki makeup.
Who's now done up in full geisha makeup.
Full geisha makeup? Why? She's like, this is my business casual look?
No, before that, he fights the silent white chick. The Great White Ninja.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And quickly snaps her neck.
That is where every time he grabs her, she pulls a new knife from a new part of her body.
This fight was fucking
earrings,
great, dude.
She's got necklaces, she's got wristlets, her fucking shoes have blades that come out of multiple points. He's just fucking slap fighting her the whole time.
He throws her through a fucking wall, and she plays dead, and he goes in. He's like, "Oh, finally she's dead," and she wakes up and throws something at him.
Yeah, he looks really fucking stupid there.
he looks at her and he's like, "Oh, she's sleeping. I wish I could sleep."
She looks really comfortable.
Look at her all tuckered out.
And then they get up and they have Frank is getting sliced and kicked and cut and is taking more damage than he should. And finally he's like, "We fucking stop it!" And just snaps her neck.
He goes around her and just fucking snaps it like a fucking twig.
And it looked like it was something he did because he was annoyed.
So now we get to fucking Lady Tanaka, and she has Tommy, and she's fucking. Why is she decked out in full geisha makeup?
I don't know.
If Franco is wearing denim, I'm wearing my royal garb. Everyone had a costume change for that scene, so it was just
Yeah, the only one that didn't was Frank.
Goldblatt was like, "Here's the fucking finale. Put him in the geisha makeup."
There's a time and place for geisha makeup. I'm just not sure what it is. I don't want to sit here and claim to be an expert in Japanese culture, but it seems really out of place here.
It's not for fighting, I'll tell you that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not for taking hostages.
So Franco comes in, and Tanaka has Tommy. She's holding him hostage with a knife to his throat, and she's like, "Put the fucking gun down or your son dies." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "What do you want from me? What do you want? What do I got to do?" And she's like, "Get down on your knees, put the fucking gun in your mouth, blow your brains out in front of your kid."
I thought you told me to put the gun down. And Franco starts sobbing, and before this reaches the critical point,
yeah,
Frank Castle drunkenly jumps through a paper wall.
Paper wall? It's a fucking glass wall. What are you talking about? Glass shatters all over the room.
Yeah, he jumps through a fucking window into the room.
It's like John McClane, for God's sakes.
Throws a knife square into the middle of Tanaka's forehead, and she's like, eh.
She goes down like a sack of rice, dude. She's out.
And then Franco demonstrating that he is the dumbest man alive. I couldn't believe this happened. I figured he'd be like, "See you later, Frank," but instead he's like, "You're the Punisher, and I'm a bad guy, so haha."
Well, he's like, "Come on, Tommy, get out, go, leave the room for a second. Dad's got to do something." And he's like, "Hey, Frank, look, thanks for saving my kid, but when I get out of here, I'm gonna make the biggest crime syndicate in the fucking world." Because everybody's dead and you helped me kill them.
I learned nothing from this experience.
And then when Tommy grows up, he's gonna inherit it all. And then I can't have you kill the kid in 5 years or whatever, so you gotta die.
If I've learned anything from The Punisher, this is probably the right play on Franco's part.
Well, yeah, because then he would have had the awful luck of seeing him and his son killed by the same man. So then, like, first of all, Frank is laying on the ground this whole time, just looking like he's fucking had it. Like, he's laying his fucking arms over his head, and he's like, whatever you're gonna do, just fucking do it, all right?
So Tommy walks in, and he's like, don't shoot him, Dad. And he's like, get out of here, Tommy. And then fucking Punisher, like, kicks out Franco's legs, and then they, like, kind of, like, awkwardly wrestle a little bit.
They quote-unquote wrestle.
It's like two guys that don't want to hurt each other, like, rolling around on the ground.
It's remember the fight at the end of Equilibrium where they're just slapping guns around? It's all the way on the opposite end of that spectrum, where there's no grace, there's no precision, everyone's just like, give me the gun, no, give me the, I want the gun, give me the gun.
Get your hand off my butt.
Yeah, they start like peeling fingers off one at a time and spitting on each other's hands.
So then Frank gets the gun, shoots Franco, but he's wearing body armor, but let me tell you something. That's a fucking Magnum, dude.
At that range, he would have put a fucking golf ball size hole in Franco's chest.
Like, even if it didn't kill him, he would be like, the wind knocked out of him, fall back, I'm on the ground in pain kind of shit.
A few ribs would be broken, he'd be having trouble breathing.
Yeah, he's a fucking foot away from him when he shoots him. And he's just like, nope, got a fucking body armor on. And then he jumps for Frank again, they fall down, and then, like, Frank shoots him, like, or it's one of those scenes where, like, they're both struggling and the gun goes off and you don't see who gets shot. But I guess Frank, like, shot him around the side of the body armor.
Yeah, in, like, the armpit.
Yeah. You shot me in the armpit. That's my most vital place. I'm dead.
It's my Achilles armpit.
So he stands up and he fucking pulls blood, like he pulls his bloody hand out of his shirt and just falls over and dies. And then Frank drops the gun, he goes to walk away, and Tommy picks it up and he's like, I'm gonna kill you for killing my dad.
Even though I just wanted to save you. And then Frank Castle looks down at presumably a 10-year-old boy and says,
stay a good boy. We'll grow up to be a good man. And the subtext there is, I will totally hunt you down and kill you.
If you're a bad boy, I'm gonna get you. And then Lou Gossett Jr. shows up, and he's like, which way did he go? Where's Frank? He sees the kid standing there with dead Franco, and he's like, where's Frank? Where'd he go? And then he sees like a blood trail like leading outside. He goes outside onto the fucking like roof of this building, and he just leans over the edge, and he's like, Frank! And it pulls out, and it's just like, and then it just cuts to Frank in the sewer, and he's like, this is my epilogue where I'm naked again in the sewer.
Yeah, but at this time, the epilogue is pulled back a lot further, and you get to see the silhouette of Dolph Lundgren's nutsack. And the weirdest part about this is that he's like, he was so inspired by killing all those Asian Yakuza that now he's sitting like a fucking Asian person on stone in front of whatever fireplace he has underneath there, butt-ass naked, with his legs spread enough to where his ballsack is so clear that I don't know how they didn't catch this in post. So
you're saying we caught a glimpse of Dolph Lundgren's?
Yes, precisely.
His under Lundgren's?
Oh, right me under Lundgren's.
Right, he got me right me under Lundgren's there, mate. So he's like, yeah, well, here's that thing again about God and how I have to punish people, and I'm gonna just stay naked in the sewer. Here's the title of the movie. And then the fucking Punisher logo comes up, and then we cut to black. This movie is fucking fantastic.
You want to know what's something crazy? I looked this up real quick, because I want to see. You know what this Rotten Tomatoes score is?
What?
28.
How is that possible?
I don't know, because this was really, really fun, and I feel like time has been very kind to this movie.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because you got bitch-ass fanboys that only watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they're like, this is a terrible superhero movie.
Yeah, and like the one thing I remember people always said about this was like, that's a terrible Punisher movie. He doesn't even have the skull logo. I'm like, and then after seeing it now, I'm like, yeah, but that's the only thing that was missing.
That's the only thing. And you know what? You didn't even fucking need it, man.
No. And he didn't have it in the Tom Jane movie until the last 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah, like, it's okay.
So, for fun, and just a little bit of trivia to end this episode with, I went and got all the kill counts for all of Frank Castle's on-screen appearances, and I split Daredevil Season 2, Season 1, and Season 2 of his show into 3 separate categories. That way John Bernthal isn't landsliding this whole thing.
Yeah, because that's a little unfair, dude.
So do you want to guess the numbers, or do you just want me to say it? And, you know, need a little participation aspect of it.
Oh, this is fun. I like this game.
Okay, let's go with this one, Punisher 89. Who's got a number?
55.
Okay. Dave?
56.
Okay. Sean?
I'd say about 40.
Okay, so the number of on-screen deaths is 54.
Ooh, wow, you guys are close.
Now here's where this movie gets a weird asterisk, because it says he has killed 125 criminals in 5 years, so it brings his total kill count to 179.
Okay.
All right, Punisher 2004.
Oh, fuck. His whole fucking extended family gets killed in that movie.
Well, this is only Frank's body count, and I had to separate that. It's okay. So, Joe, how many do you think?
I'm gonna say 40.
Okay, Dave.
35.
Okay, Sean.
I'm gonna go conservative on this one. I think it's only about 20.
It is 25.
Oh man.
He doesn't kill as many people in that movie. He just kills John Travolta.
No, he doesn't. He spends a lot of time like meandering in his fucking hideout and like coming up with like really complicated plans.
He just wants his kids back.
That movie only has one good scene, so.
The Russian?
I like that movie, but yeah, the Russian fight is fucking rad.
No, not even that. I was saying the ice pop scene, because that's literally off the page of John Romita Jr.'s Warzone comic.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, not to go off on too
Speaking
much of a side
Warzone.
tangent, but great comic if you ever get a chance
yes.
to read it.
Oh, absolutely. When actually Romita Jr. cared about drawing.
Fucking A.
Speaking of Warzone, we go to that's the next movie. Joe, how many people do you think you killed in Warzone?
Oh boy. 60.
Dave?
I'm saying 80. There's a lot of massacring that movie.
Sean?
Yeah. I'm just going to go straight up and say 100 because I feel like that was the movie they were just like trying to one-up everything before it.
114.
Wow.
Why?
Now here's some surprises. Okay, this is Punisher in Daredevil Season 2, so keep in mind he is not the main character of this show. Joe, how many people do you think he killed?
In the Punisher series?
No, this is just season by season, so this is just Daredevil Season 2 right now.
Daredevil season. 15.
Okay, Dave.
Never seen it, so I don't know, 20.
Yeah, me either. I'm kind of.
Okay.
I have no
Just
idea.
Guess a number.
12.
Okay, 98.
What? Come on.
Damn.
He is in, like, his amount of screen time is limited, but he kills 8 people in one fight scene.
I did. Really?
Yes.
I gotta watch that again.
They made Frank into a fucking mass murdering killing machine. Okay, so season 1, Joe.
30.
Okay, Dave.
Never seen it again, so I have no idea.
Okay, Sean.
If it was 98 in season 2 of Daredevil, I'll say 230.
It's just 90 this time, and then because
90?
I don't think anyone's seen all of Punisher season 2 yet, so I won't make anybody guess.
I haven't even watched the first episode of it. Was it that many?
Yeah.
That's I don't remember it being that many. Anyway.
Punisher season 2, he killed 103 people. I think the actual amount of and I looked into this. The 2004 Punisher has like 54 on-screen deaths, but a third of them are Frank's family. Yeah, and then Warzone, I think at some point he annihilates an entire hallway full of criminals. It's like 40 people at once. It's ridiculous.
Warzone's the best.
I fucking love Warzone, and it's so campy and ridiculous, and what's his face as Jigsaw is just a magnet of overacting and just chewing up scenery.
Yeah. So where are we putting this, fellas?
It's a shelf movie. Like I said, I saw this movie when I was a kid, had very fleeting memories of it. I remember it being poor, and I also know it has a reputation for being such, but having been on the Phantom Zone the past few years and having to watch movies like, I don't know, the Swamp Thing movie, this movie is a fucking breath of fresh air compared to that piece of shit where at the end of it someone turns into a fucking werewolf for some reason.
I almost chose the Return of Swamp Thing instead of Punisher.
Oh my god.
Wynorski Gold, baby.
Who's next?
I'm too lazy to collect DVDs, so I have everything on a hard drive.
It's the first answer of its kind in this show.
That's not how this works. It's either in the dumpster or on the shelf.
Guess the shelf, then. I love this movie. This is what I wish the MCU was more of, personally. So
This is definitely a shelf movie for me. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought it was. It was almost like a John Woo movie made in America before John Woo came to America, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I was going to say earlier that this movie can sit right in the same pile as, like, Cobra and fucking Commando and all kinds of, like, those fucking 80s macho machine gun movies.
Yep.
yes.
there was a specific scene in this film that made me think of the movie Hard Boiled directly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this film.
I love Hard Boiled.
One of the best fucking action movies ever made. But it's John Woo with Chow Yun-fat, and the scene when he's the Punisher shoots the harpoon in the guy and like flies down with the machine gun just made me think of Hard Boiled, because there's a scene in that very similar. Chow Yun-fat's in a fucking warehouse going down a zip line, just shooting people in a warehouse with a machine gun.
And there's doves everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a fun action movie.
I also feel like after this film, Lundgren went to his agent. It was like, if you could find me something else with Yakuza in it, I'll do it. And then Showdown in Little Tokyo happened.
Yeah. And Shang Tsung was like, come on, fight me.
Jesus Christ, what a mismatch. Fucking Dolph's like twice that guy's size.
When I met Kerry Tagawa, and he's like, that's a really old movie. And I'm like, yup.
Most people just ask me about Mortal Kombat.
Bye. And that was the end of that conversation. But yeah, this is definitely a shelf movie for me. This is like the epitome of fucking 80s. Like, this is late 80s action movies at its fucking peak. It's fantastic. It hits all the fucking right tasty notes for me. You got your nostalgia factor, you got your comic book factor, you got your fucking the body count is way up there. The ridiculous explosions, the stunts in this movie are fucking amazing, and it's just a very satisfying, fun watch. So yeah,
it is a very easy movie to sit back and just kind of accept it and have fun with it. It doesn't ask too much of you at any point, and it's very simple. It's very easy to condense into a few sentences as far as what happens, and it's like an hour and fucking 30 minutes long. It's a breeze.
And just to touch on the director, Mark Goldblatt, he only directed Dead Heat in this movie, and then there was some TV drama that he directed, but he was editor on Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Rambo 2,
whoa,
Predator 2,
whoa,
X-Men Last Stand, True Lies, Starship Troopers, Halloween 2, Enter the Ninja, Howling, and fucking Super Mario Brothers. So I mean,
that's a fucking hell of a palette there.
Well, I mean, you look at this movie and it has literally everything that those movies have in this.
It does, yeah.
So he took all his editing skills and everything he loved and put into his directing debut. So yeah, and the writer of this movie hasn't done really shit at all, Boaz Yakin, but last year he came out with he did the script for Boarding School, which is a pretty cool, like, suspenseful, like, thriller movie. If you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend.
Awesome, definitely got to check that out.
I've never even heard of it. He also looks like he directed Remember the Titans as well.
Like I said, nothing worthwhile.
Oh wait, hold on. But he wrote the smash hit Prince of Persia and The Sands of Time.
No thanks. Yeah, so I want to plug Dave's new comic book coming out again, Fishtown. And where can we find that again, Dave?
It will be live on Indiegogo, and if you go to indiegogo.com/projects/Fishtown.
And where can listeners check out all your artwork, and where can they hook up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at ScaredyXCat and on Instagram at _ScaredyCat, and I post primarily on there.
Awesome. So that's it. That's The Punisher from 1989, directed by Mark Goldblatt. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
And I'm Dave De Forne.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
Hey, man, I got the pizza.